Hello, Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Ahmad Faiz bin ALIAS, country number 0774441. And today I will be presenting on disaster management in focus insight from Aceh, Venice and the Philippines. This presentation will analyze three major natural disasters, which is the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami in Aceh, the 2090 Venice floods, and Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines. By focusing on pre-crisis preparedness, crisis response, and post-crisis recovery, the objective is to understand the strengths and weakness of different crisis management strategies and their impact on tourism. So, natural disasters disrupt life, economies, and tourism. They cause significant human economy and infrastructure losses, affecting communities for years. Effective disaster management is crucial to mitigate their impact. For example, we can see at 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami in Aceh caused over 200,000 deaths due to the absence of a tsunami early warning system, and the 2019 Venice floods resulted in historic damage, partly due to the delayed most project. Similarly to the Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, devastated coastal areas, killing thousands due to insufficient evacuation plans. So, this presentation will analyze three disasters based on three phases, which is I mentioned before: pre-crisis assessment, crisis response, and post-crisis recovery. Okay, let's next we move to the first case study, which is the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami at Aceh. So this tsunami was triggered by 9.1 magnitude undersea earthquake, resulting in one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. The tsunami wave destroyed coastal communities in Aceh and killing over 200,000 people. The lack of a tsunami warning system mean that residents were caught off guard, and this highlight the importance of early warning system in disaster-prone areas. Okay, next, we move to response and recovery at Aceh. So the global humanitarian community mobilized over $14 billion in aid that provide food, medical care, emergency service, and temporary shelter. So the Indonesian government established the Agency for Rehabilitation and Reconstruction of Aceh and Nias, or we can say BRR, to oversee rebuilding effort. The tsunami led to the development of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System that improved future disaster preparedness. So just now we already learned about pre-crisis, crisis response, and post-crisis recovery at Aceh. Next, we move to the case study number two, which is 2019 floods in Venice. In November 2019, Venice experienced one of its worst floods, with water level reaching 1.87 meters, submerging uh, 80% of the city. So, Venice is naturally vulnerable to flooding due to its location in a lagoon. However, the delays in the most flood barriers project left the city exposed to extreme high tides. Okay, next we move to response and recovery at Venice. As you guys can see, the picture below is a MOS, or the short name is a Modulo Experimental Electromechanical. So, the Italian government declared a state of emergency and allocate about 2,000 no, about to 20 million euro for immediate relief. So volunteers help with cleanup effort, and businesses sought financial assistance. So at the post-crisis recovery, restoration effort focus on cultural heritage sites like Saint Mat Basilica. In 2020, the most flood barrier was active, reducing future flood risk. This case emphasized how infrastructure projects must be complete on time to prevent disaster escalation. Next, we move to the case study number three, which is Typhoon Haiyan at Philippine Act. And this crisis happened in 2030. So Typhoon Haiyan is the one of the strongest tropical cyclone ever recorded that struck the Philippines with wind speeds of 350 km per hour, causing massive destruction and displacing millions of people. So the pre-crisis assessment that despite the country's frequent typhoon yearly warning system were not well developed, storm surge were underestimated, and evacuation effort was insufficiently. Next, how about response and recovery at the Philippines? So the crisis response, the government declared a national calamity, and international aid flowed in from countries such as United States, Japan, and the United Kingdom. So the search and rescue operation were challenging due to the destroyed infrastructure and disrupted community lines. About over 600 people lost their life, and entire coastal community were wiped out. And how about next post-crisis recovery? The Build Back Better initiative focus on constructing resilient infrastructure and strengthening disaster preparedness programs. However, logistical challenges and economic losses in tourism continue to impact recovery. So this case show the importance of proactive disaster risk reduction strategies. So next we move to the similarities and differences of these three case study. Firstly, we can see based on these three case study, there was a similarities which is geographical location. So let's see. Let's first we move to the Aceh. So Aceh, because the location make it prone to tsunamis. Meanwhile, Venice suffers from the high tide, and the Philippines is the geography location is frequently hit by typhoon. The number two is a lack of preparedness. So Aceh had no tsunami warning system. Meanwhile, Venice most project was delayed, and the Philippines underestimate higher storm surge. And the lastly, both of these three case study is focused on early warning system. So after their respective disaster, all three regions invest in the better warning system to mitigate future risks. Next, about how about differences of these three case study. Firstly, as we can see, the damage or the destruction. So we can see the Aceh and the Philippines suffer high fatalities and massive destruction. Meanwhile, Venice is just primarily faces on economy and culture loss. And secondly, how about recovery strategy? The different this is how these three location, these three crises, they recovery, their recovery strategies. So we can see Aceh rely heavily on international aid. Venice focus on infrastructure project like most, and the Philippines emphasize community-based disaster resilience. Beside of that, let's move to the effectiveness of crisis management strategy. So each case had different approaches to the crisis management. So we can see at Venice, the most project, so it's effective in long-term flood prevention, but face delay that worsens immediate impact. And Aceh, number two is Aceh International Aid. Rapid recovery was achieved through global humanitarian effort, but dependency on foreign aid was a concern. And then lastly, the Philippines community-based disaster preparedness that's empowered local population but was constrained by limited resources. This comparison highlight the need for a balance between government intervention, technological solution, and community resilience. Okay, next we move to the long-term impact on tourism. So, tourism is often one of the hardest hit sector after a disaster. As we can see, Aceh developed a dark tourism through tsunami memories, but face challenge in balancing economic benefit with the community sensitivity. And the Venice flooding raised a concern about sustainability, but the most project has helped reassure tourists. And then lastly, at Philippines, recurring typhoon deter visitors, but disaster-resistant tourism facility have improved resilience. Next, we move to the recommendation. To improve crisis management, I propose three key recommendations. The first one is strengthen yearly warning system. So the government must invest in modern technologies that provide real-time alert. So number two is develop resilient infrastructure. So the city should prioritize disaster-resistant building and flood barrier. For example, at Venice, the most project. And the number three, the lastly is utilize very strong and solid building material by using high quality disaster-resistant material that can minimize structural damage during disaster like floods and typhoon. For example, in the Philippines, many homes were completely destroyed because they were not built to withstand extreme wind and storm surge. So, by investing in durable material, reducing rebuilding costs and improving long-term resilience. For example, Aceh tsunami detection system and Venice most projects are the step in the right direction, but timely implementation is crucial. So before I move to the conclusion, why preparedness, communication, and collaboration is the important thing that's play a vital role in the management, in crisis management. So as we can see, disaster management require these three factor. So as we can see, preparedness at Aceh. So early warning system what by investing in early warning system will save a lot of lives. So how about communication at Venice? The real-time flood updates have improved response and coordination. So the collaboration, international partnership in the Philippines accelerated recovery effort. These three elements ensure better disaster mitigation and long-term sustainability. So the last but not least, in conclusion, disaster management must focus on preparedness, infrastructure resilience, and collaboration. Learning from past disaster help governments develop stronger strategies to protect both communities and tourism industry. By studying Aceh, Venice, and the Philippines, we see that effective disaster management can reduce casualties, accelerate recovery, and ensure long-term sustainability. So that's all for me. Thank you for your time, and I welcome any question. That's none.